It's 25 degrees in Coma, but it's also awards week, where our town's stars once again get to remind us that recognition is its own reward. This is Coma News Daily, the official worldwide internet news source portal for the town of Coma. As always, brought to you by our friends at Liquid Hand.
Liquid Hand tastes great.
I'm Dr. Jimmy, Coma physician and stand-in newsreader.
And I'm Shane Darvish, hardcore thespian and full-time lover of awards shows.
I'm glad someone likes awards shows because we happen to have a story about a big one you may have heard about recently.
Oh man, oh man.
But first, here's a story that is actually about a different kind of recognition.
Oh, what? Like a Lifetime Achievement Award or a Pulitzer?
Exactly. Our lead story is about a memorial service for a lost local news legend, which became news when it spurred a fire, riot, stampede, fistfights, and an emergency childbirth. Don Johnson Michaels always used to say, "You know news is probably nearby if you hear sirens or smell tear gas," Thomas Stephen John, a Coma News reporter, said about his late editor. So I think he would have really enjoyed how this service turned out. Michaels was missing and presumed dead after riding off on a horse owned by his employer and landlord, Davis Montgomery III, in mid-January. The memorial service at Bear's Biker Bar started out on a somber note, as residents dressed in costumes for the show-and-tell themed remembrance and reenacted their favorite Michaels-related memories. Trouble began when intoxicated mourners from the Scottish Rite wake down the street showed up and began to hurl jokes at the costume speakers. Shouting matches grew especially heated when town councilwoman Natalie Peters arrived with a variety of farm animals from the barn where the late Michaels was living. "These drunken animals have zero respect for the right of these other animals to express their grief at the passing of their roommate," Peters said. The taunting by Robert McGinnis and other friends of Michaels eventually became too much for Peters, who unleashed pepper spray from the stage as fistfights broke out among audience members. Terrified and blinded farm animals trampled a collection of delicate straw and candle figures depicting great moments in journalism, which were contributed to the service by local artists. The resulting fire, together with pepper spray and a tear gas canister hurled by an intoxicated Sheriff Paul T. Frostnib, drove the remaining mourners from the bar. The stress of the event sent Claudia Smith, wife of former councilman Bob Smith, into early labor. After the child was born in the parking lot of the biker bar, mother and child were safely transported to Coma Regional Medical Center. "I think it's best that we just try to forget this night and all of the dark ugliness it spawned," Coma Mayor Dave Anderson said in an interview in front of a burning trash can lit on fire by mourners outside the bar.
I never heard much about Don Johnson Michaels.
I get the sense he would have wanted it that way.
And now a word from a real winner of a sponsor, a place for those guys. Time was a man could be a man, set his own schedule, and seize his own destiny. Hey guys, if you're ready to be a man again without all the lame stuff, check out a place for those guys. Why should I live there? Because we offer affordable accommodations and wraparound services for all the recently divorced men. Services like house cleaning, we got you. Cooking, we got you. Alcohol, cigarette, and nitrous delivery, we got you. Therapeutic Swedish and Korean massage, we got you. Gray market stuff, look, guys, if you need it, we got it. We'll go out and get it. Bottom line, find the life you've always dreamed about before all the other stuff got in the way, right here in a place for those guys. So is it time to talk about little statues yet?
First, let's hear about some well-deserved awards for our local heroes.
Fine. 3 aquatic angels were honored Monday as the Coma Regional Aquatic Pool swore in the newest class of lifeguards to stand watch during the 2015 indoor swim season. "We're taking lessons learned from the sacrifices of these guards and applying them to the new winter season," said Paul T. Frostnib, Coma Sheriff and part-time director of the pool. "I always tell my people, job 1 is to make it home alive. 3 lifeguards, including one who is currently fighting an illness at the Tacoma Regional Medical Center, were recognized for placing others' sanitation and safety ahead of their own. Sharon Sarandon caught dengue fever after her full-body protective biosuit was compromised during a leap into the pool to check on a kid trying to beat personal record for the dead man's float. It's hard to see below the surface at the end of that pool with all the band-aids and other refuse that collect there, so we may never know what pierced her suit, said Chase Donovan, who's entering his 3rd year as a guard. Frostnib's priority this season is cracking down on feces of unknown origin. The FUO sightings definitely proliferated toward the end of last season, Frostnib said. Cutting off the hot water in the showers will hopefully keep people from getting too comfortable in there, if you know what I mean. More concerning to Donovan than any waterborne dangers are his infrequent trips to check on problems in the sauna. Your faceplate is instantly obscured by projectiles from all the hacking going on in there, so it's real easy to get disoriented and lost, Donovan said. Some residents have raised concerns about the pool at the start of the latest swim season. I don't think they realize what cutting back Saturday swim hours in the winter means to families stuck at home with small boys, said Sadie Cracker, a mother of 2. It's like being trapped in a cave with feral bulldogs. Check the Town of Coma website for pool hours and to read a copy of their legal disclaimer.
We may need to follow up with some medical angles to that story.
Whatever. Awards show. Now, please.
Well, it looks like it's time to talk Comies. That's right, Coma's annual awards for conspicuous specialness were handed out in a star-studded dinner this past weekend. The 4th annual Coma Critics Celebration Prize Occasion, or C3PO, rolled out Sunday night with all the pomp and circumstance, and none of the violence or slander that one would expect from the town's premier award show. C3PO, created by community theater director Shane Darvish to honor the work of local critics, was blissfully free of the violence and mayhem that has marred previous gatherings of the town's finest. Robert McGinnis took home the evening's top honors, the Coma Waste Disposal and Media Critics Award. In presenting his Comey, Darvish hailed McGinnis's cultural contributions of bringing a bit of European sophistication to Coma. It's all shite, an apparently intoxicated McGinnis said to huge applause. The largely incident-free nature of this year's show, which was simulcast on Coma Community Access TV, was credited to the absence of the leading critic of the award show, Don Johnson Michaels. Michaels repeated an incoherent outburst in the middle of last year's C3PO, precipitated an audience free-for-all during the distribution of Lifetime Achievement cream pies. We do miss having a critic critiquing the event, Darvish said. I blame his loss and opening up the awards voting to the general public for deeply tainting this event. In the 3 previous C3POs, all nominees and winners were selected solely by Darvish and his 2 cats. Other award recipients included Maribel Davis, who won for Biggest Private Detective Pundit, Dee Collins for Leading Homemade Baseball Card Connoisseur, and Micah Horncraft, winner in the Ham Radio Criticism category. Mayor Dave Anderson won recognition as the biggest gadfly of local government, apparently as a result of voters' ongoing confusion between the opposing roles of critics and advocates. While there is little chance that we will go back to limiting voting to members of my immediate family, hopefully in the future we can restrict ballots to the town's best, brightest, and most susceptible to promotional campaigns, Darvish said.
I wonder what people would say if I ever won one of those awards.
They'd probably be happy for you.
Shows what you know about award shows. Now, in significantly less compelling arts news, Robert McGinnis wins Coma's 1st annual Justified Poetry Contest. Here in its entirety is the winning poem, which will also be read by Councilman Jax Owen tonight at the Town Council meeting. Justified Pants, an effin' haiku. Raylan, your jeans fit. Boyd's rolled jeans are criminal. Limited cowboy.
Now let's take a look at a coming sports winner with this week's future news.
Luke Michaels will win an unexpected victory in Dirt War this coming Saturday by uncontested acclamation. Michaels, 10, victory over his older brother Sean, 12, came to this reporter in a sweat-soaked fever dream. The younger Michael's victory followed a day-long dirt clod throwing battle at a residential construction site, known between the brothers as the Hills. Although Luke was generally on the run throughout the day, a desperation handful of dirt will momentarily blind Sean and elicit the universal surrender, "You cheated, I'm going home." Although the boy's mother declined interviews with them for this article, she expressed relief. No one's gonna lose an eye. Usually it's a victory for their dad and I when we're able to pry those computer games out of their hands for half a second and get them to go outside, she said. But I guess either way, there's a price to be paid. The victory by the younger Michaels will be short-lived, however, as months of further fighting between the brothers in nearby streams, woods, and the neighborhood pool will follow the mysterious incapacitation of their family's Xbox gaming system. "That sounds awesome," said Jimmy Cracker, 10, a sometimes ally of the younger Michaels, when told about a coming battle featuring BB guns and M80s taped to tennis balls, which the brothers will lead. "But I gotta go because I'm not supposed to talk to strangers, especially ones who smell weird."
Now a word from our sponsor of good, clean, outdoor fun, Jack's Organic Bikes.
Do you like outdoor biking? Are you committed to reducing, reusing, and cycling? Hi, I'm here to talk about Jack's Organic Bikes. That's right, all the joy in a high-end bicycle without a guilt of a massive carbon footprint. Pre-owned, engineless vehicles, locally sourced from your friends and neighbors. They're guaranteed to burn fat like a steel blast furnace while giving you a thrill of a lifetime. So ride on, you come all cowboys to Jack's.
Jack's Used Cars is not responsible for the legal status of organic bicycles or future criminal charges related to the receipt of stolen property. Please use a helmet and bike responsibly.
Are you illiterate? You're not alone. But you don't have to let illiteracy stand in the way of a successful life and career. At Parker Academic Institute, we help thousands learn to read and write every year. You can be our next success story. Write to us to request a free 283-page book on how you can overcome illiteracy. Our literacy guide is filled with hundreds of pages of important and helpful information that will be your roadmap to learning. What are you waiting for? Contact Parker Academy today and say goodbye to illiteracy forever. Now a reminder that those who fail to remember the great celebrations of history will be jailed. This is Today in Coma History.
First discovered by Vincent St. Preux in 1832, Coma's famous log that resembles Andrew Jackson was the toast of the town for nearly 2 decades. The 8-foot log captivated residents of Coma, who viewed the uncanny resemblance to War of 1812 hero Andrew Jackson as a sign that the town was destined for greatness. St. Preux recounted his discovery in a letter to Coma physician Adolphus Pratt in 1844. As I stumbled through the wild, my heart suddenly sank to some deep recess of my body. Who is this I have trespassed upon on this winter's eve? It is the nation's savior and president, Andrew Jackson. My heart raced as I drew near. I bowed in his presence and requested counsel with him, but for only a moment. I asked him what great storm had altered his course in such a way that he now sat on the forest floor like a vacated elk carcass. It was only after many repeated unanswered questions that I took a closer look and realized it was not in fact our great leader, but a log. The log was put on display amid great fanfare in a small park near the center of town. Visitors flocked from afar to see for themselves the miraculous log that some Coma residents claimed was an exact replica of the man who saved the nation from peril during a bloody war with the British.
Next, we're going to hear about how rewarding it is to make a figure-8 donut plate to share with friends while watching Hollywood millionaires win money and prizes by pretending to be other people. Stan Bargemeyer, Coma News Daily intern, will tell us how.
Figure-8 donut platters are a nice touch when entertaining guests, by Stan Bargemeyer. Sometimes I think I want to have people over to my house to watch television shows or do other things. If you're like me, you probably worry about what sort of special dish you can prepare to help your guests feel like they are guests and welcome in your home. It turns out there are a lot of things you can do to make people feel like you want them inside your home. I wanted to share with you one of my favorites. I don't think it's too hard because even I was able to figure it out. Figure 8 donut platters are a fun and festive way to tell your guests that they are guests in your home and you went out of your way to prepare something special for them to enjoy. Stan's Figure 8 donut platter. Prep time, 25 minutes. Serves 4. What you'll need: 2 round donuts, not fritters. This is important to note. Fritters will not work. Neither will maple bars. You'll also need 1 plate. What you'll do: first, set your plate on a flat surface inside your home. Next, arrange the donuts on the plate side by side. Finally, present to your guests and enjoy the Figure 8 donut platter. For variety, consider using different types of donuts or serving them on different types of plates. You are only limited by your imagination and the number of plates you have in your home, and the different variety of donuts available at local grocers and bakeries.
And now a story about how for every winner, there are lots of losers.
I love winning.
Well, too bad. This story by Coma News Daily columnist Sadie Cracker is all about losing.
Yuck.
When I moved back to Coma, it was for my kids, because I was alone, and also for my father, Stan Bargemeyer, who after losing my mother, decided to intern at Coma News Daily. My father and I don't have a lot in common other than the fact that we both have lost a spouse. Sometimes we meet at Bear's Biker Bar at night for a drink. He gets decaf and I go for something a little stronger. We meet here because it's a middle ground and it's a place where he and I aren't lost. Him and his mind and me and my grief. Charlie, the Coma librarian, is standing on a makeshift stage. The Christmas lights are still up, and there's a tree behind him that's lost a lot of its pine needles, but still holds on to its twinkling lights. Tonight, Charlie slings Landslide, which still gets to me. On the radio, Coma News Daily is reporting that the town council is proposing a new requirement that children wear helmets all the time for safety purposes. Time makes you bolder, children get older. I'm getting older too, Charlie sings. That song isn't written by Axl Rose, Stan says. No, Dad, I say. Dad's memory goes sometimes. He's on an Axl Rose kick right now and thinks the rocker is one of his neighbors. He points at Charlie and says to me, "You're a better singer." Charlie nods and keeps singing. Dad smiles, holds my hand. Wish they would keep these kids safer these days, he says. We kept you so safe. And I laugh, and I think about the 10-mile bike rides and other activities I would do all alone as a kid. And then I think how I fear little Jimmy riding his bike alone, and I wonder what happened to this X'd-out generation where we fear, well, almost everything. You're a much better mother than a singer, Dad says. He looks at Charlie and yells, "She's a much better singer." And Charlie stops playing mid-landslide and says, "Get up here and sing it, Sadie." I shake my head. I'm a mom. I'm alone. I've forgotten how to sing and play guitar. "Get up there and sing it, Sadie. Don't be afraid, just like I taught you as a kid," Dad says, and he gives me a kiss on the cheek. So I stand. There's only 5 people in the bar. I know them all. 3 of them are drunk. I walk up to the stage and Charlie hands me his guitar. I turn around. The stage lights blind me. I see my father, who's older now. Time has streaked his cheeks with heavy lines. I'm 16 again. I'm wearing a too small Nirvana t-shirt. I'm in a bar with my guitar. I am Debbie Harry. I am Joan Jett. I am gonna rock this joint. I am older too, and I don't know what to play. My mind is blank. I don't know what to sing. "Just sing already," a drunk biker yells. "You got it, Sadie," Charlie says. I am Cyndi Lauper. And so I strum the only thing that comes to mind time after time, because that's what I sing to the boys at night, because I'm not Debbie Harry anymore. These days, I'm just here to catch little people when they fall. Dad stands, he's clapping, this is embarrassing. Bear is behind the bar and he starts singing with me. Charlie walks up to the stage and stands beside me too. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting time after time.
You know, in its own way, that sounded pretty rewarding.
Jimmy, you made a joke. Sort of. Are you going to be okay?
That's all we have time for this week. Thanks for joining us. And as always, be good, beware, and be newsworthy, Coma.